Nice folks at Auxito reached out to me again, asked me if I wanted to test any other products, and of course my first thought was a 9007 LED headlight bulb for the Crown Vic. Of course it also works in lots of other vehicles, but I'm going to be demonstrating installation on a Crown Vic. Those that designed the Crown Vic were absolute geniuses when it comes to making things easy. So you have this plastic piece here. It may have 3 plastic retainers. Most of the Vics that I've ever seen, those retainers are gone. If you have them, they just pop up or twist out one or two. And then this just lifts up and out of the way. And there's 2 metal brackets. I find it's easiest to take a regular flat screwdriver and just wedge it like that. And they lift out. And they are not interchangeable, so one goes on one side, one on the other. The whole headlight housing will slide through and out, making this, like I said, one of the easiest in the world to work on. Now if you have factory headlight bulbs, then you'll just turn this retaining ring, slide it out, and the headlight bulb will pop out. I have an older technology LED bulb in here, and it connects via this extra connector and motor that you won't have. And also, because of the way they designed mine, I'm going to have to partially disassemble this to get this retaining ring off. Just for ease, I'm going to remove this so that I can set this aside and it not fall down. Now to disconnect the headlight bulb that you will probably have, it'll just be connected directly to here. Mine, like I said, has an intermediate piece since it's already an LED. But you just pry up on these here. Do your best not to break them. They are very fragile and they will break if you're not careful. And then once you free them from that locking clip there, it just should slide off. Just like that. Now inside the box they give you gloves. You should always use gloves whenever you're handling headlight bulbs. The oils in your skin can shorten the life. Definitely on the old-fashioned bulbs, but I think even these newer LEDs you don't want to touch with your bare fingers. So you see their technology is much more like the factory as far as it's just one piece all contained. You don't have to deal with all this mess. You don't have to deal with what I'm going to have to do to get this ring off, which is to basically disassemble this bulb. And then the other thing that you would run across with these sometimes is you'd have to twist them in the socket while you had it disassembled, because sometimes the high beam would and the low beam would be flip-flopped. I'm assuming since Auxito is high quality that you won't have that issue. On these old bulbs you have to lift up this rubber ring, and then there's little tiny Phillips screws. 2 Phillips screws, and then this top piece will come off, allowing you to get this off of there. And that's also how you would turn this and reattach it if it was you know, the wrong polarity. Basically the high beam and low beam were flip-flopped, which was apparently pretty common with this design. But for most of you, you'll just have pulled a regular bulb out and then be putting the LED in, and you'll have this ring here. So like for this one, it's going in with this tab up. Take this piece and spin it on, and it locks into place. Just pop it back in and connect the electrical. With the Crown Vic, you have these 3 aiming devices that have to be lined up perfectly when you get it in the car, and 2 that adjust both the up and down aim as well as the side to side. So if your headlights were not aimed properly, this is a great time to adjust them, because it's a lot harder on the car, because you have to have a 4mm basically long wrench that reaches down and can ratchet these, whereas if you turn these Off the car, it's a little easier. However, obviously off the car, you can't see how much adjustment you've made. I do find it's usually easier to connect the electrical before you get everything snapped into place. So it just snaps straight on, there's no trick to it. And then you just want to line up those 3 aiming posts and push them through. So this one, the bottom goes over that plastic aligner, and then that clip just fits into here. And this one, obviously, it's got to go over both of those plastic aligners. And if you don't get it over both, your headlight will wobble. But it's that simple to change. And then obviously the other side is going to go exact same way. And then when you're done, you just put that plastic cover back on. Push in the plastic retainers if your car had those. Like I said, all the Vics I've seen, I've only seen 2 actual plastic retainers. So it's not very common that they're still around. Okay, I was right. Auxito stuff is quality stuff. Plug and play, stuck them in. They both line up with the lock tab straight up and right out of the box. Low beams work, high beams work, so no messing with them. So get you some Auxitos. They look brighter than the others. I won't be able to tell for sure until I drive at night. And that's how that goes back in. Like I said, if you have the plastic retainers, there are 3. But this will not go anywhere even without them, because once the hood is closed. Hope that was helpful.